acknowledge the huge and professional effort that is going in by both Maritime New Zealand, the salvagers, and the wildlife support team. There's four positive developments in the last 24 hours that I want to note. The first of those is that the oil count's got to 645 tonne, and that means in the last 24 hours 164 tonne of oil has been removed, and that is the most in any 24-hour period, and is consistent with the advice that we've had both from Maritime New Zealand and from Silvers, that having got the pumping operation have been making efforts to lift the rate. Secondly, it's a hugely positive development to have access to the engine room settling tanks. There's 220 odd tonne of heavy oil in those tanks. To have those pumps now operating today and transferring the oil through to the number 5 port tank gives us some confidence that we are going to be able to also prevent that oil getting into the environment. The third positive development is that there has been no significant new oil spill, and the 510 tonne that was released at the weekend is not making rapid progress to any coastal area and is weathering. And in my view, the fourth development that is also positive is in respect of the Go Canopus vessel being on site and having a wider operational range in terms of weather conditions potentially deteriorating. So I would say it's encouraging, but we are not out of the woods. From the government's perspective, we view the most challenging and risky part of this oil recovery operation is in respect of that number 5 starter tank. I've been briefed on the steps that are going to be required to remove that oil. You've firstly got this incredible challenge of trying to create a cofferdam inside the vessel and to have that welded in place to be able to seal the area surrounding the manhole. There's then the second phase or step to then pump the water out of that cofferdam area to give access to the manhole to the number 5 starter tank. They then have to remove the manhole into that number 5 tank. They've then got to vent that tank of any potentially dangerous gases. And then I'm advised it's actually a more complex job to even get the pumps into that starter tank, because unlike the port side, with the vessel on such a heavy list, it's going to be one heck of a tricky exercise to actually get the pump past the extrusions within that tank and down to allow that operation. The reason I list those 5 steps is that as we make progress on number 5 port and on the engine room tanks, in my view, the sort of Herculean task that is facing Maritime New Zealand and the salvage team is getting that 350 odd tonne of oil out of that starter tank underwater. Thank you.